Hey there, this is K4A Knowledge for All educational videos and tutorials. In this video today we are going to learn how to add new primitives into Nomad Sculpt. In short, on your top left corner there is a menu bar with buttons which open lots of different options to choose from. You want to click and select on third from the left, which is an icon with some kind of squares connected with lines, like some kind of grid or whatever. So not the first button, not the second with the folder, but the third, which is scene icon. And when you click on it, you can see what is already in your scene. We have the sphere only by default, but we're interested in the first button in the first row. So first from the left button in the first row, which says add, click on it. It will open a new menu, new options, and you can pick whichever you want from there: box, sphere, UV sphere, icosahedron, however you pronounce it, torus, cylinder, cone, plane, tube, light, triplanar, shadow catcher, head. We are interested in box, so I will click on box and the box will open on the screen. It's simple as that, but it's not yet finished until you click on validate. So we have a box on our screen, but we have our sphere disappeared. It's not disappeared, it's still there, but it's behind or in this box because the box is bigger. The both models are on the screen, and you can see that here on scene. We have a sphere, we have a box, but the Nomad Sculpt still wants to ask us, where do you want this box to be positioned, how big or small do you want it on the screen, how rotated or not, and so on. So you have more options to define the box itself before start with the sculpt. Another interesting thing is that even if you click somewhere on the screen around the box, it's okay. You can rotate, as we have learned before, so don't worry about clicking anywhere, and even it's better for you to click and rotate it than to see it like this, because if you watch the box at this position, at this view, it will look like some kind of square piece of paper, but when you rotate it, it will become a 3D, and it will make it easier for you to see the changes which we are going to make. As you can see on your screen, you have a couple of those lines which represent axes, X, Y, and Z, and one circle at the corner of the box itself. I will click on first on this circle in the top right corner of my box, just to see what will happen, and I think that will uniformly scale. Uniform means at all three axes at the same time. So you're not scaling the box only on one axis, but on all of them, so it looks like it's becoming smaller or bigger at all three different axes, X, Y, and Z, which is what you will mostly want. And most of the time you will, if you want to keep the box look like a box, you will want to resize it. You do this, and you can leave it like this, for example, if you want some kind of model like this, but yeah, let's go with something like this. Other than that, if you click on any of those three axes, you will scale the box only on that axis. For example, this red-pink axis with red-pink circles, if I click on the right one, I will push and pull the right side of the box and make it smaller or bigger on that part only. Same with the left one. So this is like the width of my box, and you can scale both of those if you click in the circle in the middle. So click on it and then move left and right. Okay, so something like this. Maybe I want my box to be positioned a little bit on the left, so I will push this guy here, the right circle, more to the left, little bit, then a little bit left, and so on. So we have our box here. Same with the blue one. You can scale the length of the box this way, the first square or the last square, or the both of those at the same time. So let's make our box a little bit longer. And the green one makes your box scale in the height. So they all work at the same principles. It's very easy to change those attributes. When you are satisfied with the look, all you have to do is click on validate, and the box will stay on the screen. Now when I rotate both the sphere and the box at the same time, because I have two of those objects on my scene. So if you want to add more primitives, again repeat the process. I'm showing just the simplest possible way. We are going to see some of the more options and more features which you can activate here, but later we want to keep these videos short and how to combine these new skills with others. So if I want to add, for example, cone, here it is again. If you want to scale it at some axis, one axis, two, make it really sharp, really big, really small, and so on. Oops. And when you're satisfied with the look, click on validate. So I said this is only simplest possible way to add it, because as you can see, we cannot move these primitives and our objects on the screen. We haven't learned that yet. We're going to do that in some of the next videos. So far just practice adding a couple of those, and I think that's it. And another questions which you should ask yourself sooner or later are when you are going to need this. Are you going to need this at all? And also how this compares to something which we have learned before, and that is importing the object. So you're going to need this adding primitives to your scene when you want to start from the scratch from some primitive object like sphere, and you're going to use that, for example, when you practice your character modeling or something like that. Most of the sculptors start with simple sphere when they want to practice more. When they have when they don't have much time, they start from some basic head model or body model, but most of the time they're if sculptors and 3D modelers are good, they start with a sphere or some simple primitive and then sculpt from it. That's how you become better and better at sculpting and faster, which is funny, but it's true. Another thing when you're going to need this is when you want to block your scene. So for example, if you make some really complex scene and you need lots of models in it which you don't have at current time, you can just use simple boxes and spheres to put them in the place where the complex models will be, and then later just replace them. but just for blocking the scene to see how it looks. Is it working? Is it does it make sense, and so on. You use the blocks, spheres and stuff like that, and that is the same approach which we have used when we programmed in GameMaker, Unity and so on, and when we created 2D artwork in Sketchbook and so on, because that's the whole idea of that is that is approach, not something related to one software or one art. So blocking is blocking wherever you use it. So that was for example, the second idea where you can use it. And third idea is when you have some kind of simple but similar shapes to primitives, in terms of when you create more complex objects, but from time to time you will need some simple parts of the model which you are creating. Like for example, when you create a face, you need eyes. For the eyes you can pick spheres, like for the eyeballs, or some kind of boxes for simple, and which you can scale to simple metal parts for your robot and so on. And that's it for examples where you can use it, and why you should need this sooner or later. And the last but not the least thing is, I wanted just to, here it is, to be clear that this, what we have learned today, how to add new primitives like box, sphere, cylinder and so on to the scene, is not as importing or exporting model. Importing or exporting model, we have learned that before. It's when you go to this folder here and go to import or export if you have the export option, and then import already finished model or very close to finished complex model, which you have created in some other 3D software or 3D sculpting software, or somebody else created that for you, or you have bought that online. So for example, like we did with this hamburger from Unity Asset Store. So don't confuse that with adding new simple primitive objects for you to sculpt from or use on your scene. Those are two different things, and I think that's it for today. You can add, I don't know how many of those you can add in terms of how much you are limited to adding, but you don't need those primitives in numbers, like crazy numbers, like hundreds of those or thousands and so on. I guess couple of those or tens of those will finish the job, and that's it. See you in next video. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.